beauty babes, welcome to my channel. I'm Maria, aka agapelovegirl. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited today because what I'm going to be doing is a kind of chit chat, get ready with me. I want to talk all about my IMATS experience with you. It was such an amazing time this year. Also, I kind of want to start this new thing. I don't know how often I'll do it because it's not like I do hauls that often, but I think it would be kind of fun to do a haul in action. So that's what this is also going to be. It's going to be like a haul in action as well as chit chat get ready with me. Basically, haul in action is what I want to do when I haul a bunch of new products and use them. And today I'm going to film my IMATS haul, so it'll be a separate video. So that'll probably go up first because I have other stuff that I will share in a haul that I've hauled from IMATS that I probably won't include here. So if you want to see everything that got IMATS, check out that video. I'll link it in the eye. But this video will be just seeing most of the products in action. All right, I'm gonna start off first by applying a little lip balm because my lips are super dry. This is actually something I did get at IMATS. It was a little gift with purchase from Bioderma, which is the item that I am gonna use next. These products were actually the last that I purchased from IMATS because I wasn't going to purchase anything else, but we went over to the Bioderma, we meaning me and my friend D, who I hung out with the most this weekend. But anyways, went over to the Bioderma booth because she had wanted to purchase some things and I was just there with her. I wasn't planning on anything, but this kind of suckered me in. It's their... most of it's in another language, and I don't know, I know Bioderma is from, it's like originated in another country, I think. I don't quite know because I'm an uncultured swine, but yeah, so it still like really appealed to me because it's supposed to be extra hydrating, but can also be used as a primer, and I just thought it felt really nice. And you guys know my skin is so dry, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a shot. And I'm really glad that I did decide to buy it because it feels amazing. I did use it on the day I traveled home, and my skin just felt so good. Usually going to New York and back, I'm from California, I don't know if I already said that, my skin hates me afterwards, so it's like, it's such a trip, and so this felt really great on my skin. This next product is not new to me. This is the Bye Bye a Redness Neutralizing Correcting Cream. It's not actually a foundation, but I like using it as a foundation just because it's really lightweight. It does give a decent amount of coverage, and like, you know, it's a correcting cream, so it does correct my skin enough to where I feel comfortable with it. It wears really lightweight, and so I don't know, I really like it. For those who don't know, if you're new here or whatever, I work for NBA Cosmetics. It is an indie brand. I go to IMATS to work the NBA Cosmetics booth, and this is my 4th year going, and I would have to say that I think this is my best and most favorite year going to IMATS so far. It was such a wonderful experience, and unfortunately it's weird because IMATS has changed. This year was, for the booth at least, in a business aspect, it was kind of rough. Which I don't know if I'm really gonna go much into that, but IMATS made a lot of changes that weren't like that great for the brands and vendors there, in my opinion. And so I know there was a lot of vendors who weren't really happy with the outcome of IMATS this year, so that part of it was a little bit of a downer. But aside from that, my experience this year, as far as the people I got to see, hang out with, meet, and the connections I made this year has been the best so far. And really that's what I wanted to chat about today, is like, you know, my experience and things like that. And like I already mentioned, I am from California, very northern California. So whenever I go to IMATS in New York, the traveling is insane. It usually takes me a full day of traveling, flying. And New York is so very different from where I live. I live in a fairly small town in Northern California. It's very much more of an open country kind of town with lots of space. So New York is always like a crazy experience for me. But I do really love and enjoy it. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the Catrice concealer. This is not new to me. And this year, I got to work with one of my friends that I've known for quite a while online. Her name is Dee. She runs the blog and Instagram account Nerd and Lace. And what's really cool is that, like, I've known her, you know, probably about 5 years maybe. We met online. And then the very first time I actually met her in person was my very first time going to IMATS. And so that was really, really neat. And so then this year she worked the booth with us, which was so much fun. She is seriously such a fun person, so full of life, and just, I had such a blast working with her, the booth, as well as we hung out a few nights after the show and just had a blast with her. We went to the CoverGirl store, which was really, really cool. We took some photos there, which I'll probably put on the screen somewhere here. She took me to some amazing food places and for, you know, dinner and dessert and things like that. So it was really cool to kind of hang out with someone who lives there, who knows their way around, because every other year I haven't really had the chance to do that. Usually I am just there for work, and I don't really go out much because I don't want to do anything by myself. Like, that's super scary. So it was really cool to be able to hang out with her and have her, you know, show me around and be able to see a lot of, you know, a lot of stuff, and from someone who lives there and not just touristy stuff. Speaking of, while I'm doing this funny thing, well, not funny, is this funny? I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, I actually met the owner of the Makeup Bullet, which is this little finger sponge. You guys see me using a ton on my channel. It's like one of my favorite beauty applicators. I love it, just really easy. It slips right on your finger and you don't have to get it wet. The creator of the Makeup Bullet her name is Eva Jane, and she had a booth this year at IMATS, and so I was so excited to finally meet her. She is literally one of the sweetest people of life. It was really amazing being able to finally meet her, and she gave me like the biggest hug. Like, I'm kind of like not a nervous hugger, but like when I go to hug people or whatever, I don't tend to like really go in and hug hard because I don't know like how people are gonna react to like a full-on hug. Usually, you know, when you're meeting someone for the first time, you give like a little hug or whatever. But she like gave me a hug and like squeezed me so tight, and it kind of took me by surprise, and she's like, girl, get in here and give me some of that agape love. And it just made me so happy to finally meet her. Sweetest, sweetest person. I'm gonna go ahead and set under my eyes really quickly and just loosely across my face using the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder, and then this brand new brush that I got at IMATS as well from Royal & Langnickel. It's their Omnia BOM 37 highlighter brush, but it's very, very soft and fluffy, so I think it'll be really nice to set under my eyes. And I have a really awesome story to tell you guys about Royal & Langnickel too, but I'm going to get to that. I'm going to try to keep this all in order so I don't forget everything. Really, the products I just used, that IT Cosmetics cream and then that Catrice concealer, don't really need to be set, to be honest. They're both more like, I don't want to say dry, like they're drying or anything, but they're like products that are like, you know, they don't stay creamy or anything on the skin, which I like. So if you happen to catch the video I did on what I plan to purchase at IMATS, I did get most of the products I mentioned that I wanted to get, and then I did end up finding some other products outside of that list that I decided to purchase. And so that's going to be the brand I'm going to be using next. Now, this was a brand called Delu Cosmetics, and they were sharing a booth with Eva Jane of the Makeup Bullet. So that's kind of how I met them, the owner and things like that there. And so she was showing me her products, and they're a fairly new company, and I thought the products were really, really beautiful. So I decided to purchase a few things, show them some love and support as well. And they have a really cool story actually about how they got started, or she got started. It's a woman-owned business, and so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about in the haul video so that I can kind of get along with my makeup and everything else in this video. But the next couple of products I'm going to be using, as well as one of the eye products I'm gonna be using, is from this brand Delu Cosmetics. So I'm gonna go in with the bronzer. This is the shade Terracotta. I'm a sucker for bronzers, and the packaging is really, really pretty and very, very luxe. Oh, this is maybe a little bit too orange. You guys know I really love a bronzer, and I don't mind it being a little bit orange for like my contour and stuff like that, but we'll see how this looks. Ooh, this is actually really pigmented and might be a little too orange for me. Wow. I'm going to soften it up with the brush that I used for the IT Cosmetics cream. No product on it, just kind of using what's left on there just to kind of soften that up, because that was just really, really pigmented and creamy, but a little too orange for me, unfortunately. Dang it. That's really sad. So that's something I'm gonna have to use maybe like lightly with a very big fluffy brush that won't be as dense and apply it as densely, like after I contour, instead of just straight in using that as a contour, because most other bronzers I could get away with using as a contour, but that one I don't think so. I'm gonna go on with the blush from the same brand. This is in the shade Saffron. So anyways, I want to move on. I want to talk about day 2 because that was one of the most exciting days for me. So that morning as I was getting ready, I was watching YouTube, because as I get ready I like to put on some YouTube, and oh, that is pigmented. Wow, these products are like totally throwing me. I'd only swatched them at the show, and first time trying, oh my laptop. Okay, anyways, let's go in a little lighter. Wow, oh my god. Okay. This is insane. Wow. The pigmentation on these, I was not expecting it to be that bam. So we're gonna have to lighten this up too. Oh my gosh, it's like I don't know how to do makeup. So I was getting ready that morning for the show and watching YouTube. I happened to see that Teresa of Teresa is Dead posted a video, and I watch every single one of her videos, and so I popped it on as I was getting ready and just listening, and I think towards the end she talked about that she was gonna be at IMATS, and I was like, oh my goodness. No way. I'm so glad that I happened to watch her video that morning. So when I heard that she was gonna be at IMATS, I left a comment, and I figured it was a long shot because I wasn't sure if she would see my comment or even actually stop by or anything like that. Now she isn't like a ginormous like influencer, but she has like just got to like 5,000 subscribers, which technically is less than me, but she literally gets thousands and thousands and thousands of views, where I get like less than 100. So you know, she's pretty up there, she's pretty big, she's pretty well known. So I wasn't sure if she would even see my comment among, you know, the hundreds of others she gets, or if she would even be interested in stopping by the NBA Cosmetics booth, but I figured whatever, I'm going to leave a comment and see if, you know, maybe she would. So anyways, I basically left a comment, and she had replied back and mentioned that she had actually, that was one of the booths she had actually really wanted to stop by, and so I was like, oh my gosh, I was so excited. So anyways, she ended up being there like she said she was going to, and I kept like the whole day was so nervous because I didn't know when she was gonna be there, and I was like didn't want to even like take my break at any point until after I had seen her, because I was like I don't want to like not be there when she's there. I would keep my eye out, you know, the whole day pretty much, or the whole time until I had seen her. And so I was actually working on the NBA Cosmetics booth. Kind of a side tangent here. A lot of the booths at IMATS, a lot of the brands have like big booths, and there's like different sections of the booth, and in each section of the booth, it's all the same stuff. It's like the same stuff in just different sections, so that more people have access to see, you know, everything. Whereas the NBA Cosmetics booth, we have kind of a smaller booth, but I mean, it's like a pretty decent rectangle size. I'll put a picture on the screen of you know, size for us, and on each section there's different products on each section, so you kind of have to work your way around and see all the products and everything that NBA Cosmetics has to offer. So I was working mostly on the side with the chroma lights, and but kind of would scan the whole booth every now and again just to see like who was there, see if she, you know, she happened to be there, or anybody else that I might, you know or recognize. And so at some point in the day, I'm like, I can't even remember when she stopped by, but anyways, I look over and she was looking at the other side of the booth where we had the loose pigments. And as soon as I see her, I was like, oh my gosh, I ran over, well, I didn't run, I'm being dramatic, but I quickly walked over to where she was. I was like, oh my gosh, Teresa. I was like, I'm so glad you are here. I feel like I can be such an awkward person. She said I wasn't awkward at all, but okay, I'm stuttering now. I don't even know like what to say. Okay. I managed to keep it cool. I don't think I stuttered. I don't think it looked like I was totally fangirling, but on the inside I was like literally so excited. So I just went over and talked to her and like asked if I could give her a hug. We took a selfie, and then I was like, so I would love to, if you don't mind, if you would like, I will, you know, I would love to shop the booth with you. So normally I stay on the inside of the booth and just help the people who come up, but with her I went on the outside of the booth with her and shopped with her because I thought that would be really cool to do. And so she didn't mind. She was very lovely. Oh my gosh, she's seriously so pretty, and she's the sweetest person ever. Like seriously, she was so sweet, so kind, and I was just so happy to meet her and happy that she was like looking at NBA Cosmetics products and seemed to like what she was seeing. And anyway, so we kind of just shopped the booth, took her around, told her a little bit about some of the products, showed her some of my favorite things. I'm gonna go in with my highlight. I'm gonna be using the Pixie Glowy Gossamer Duo in the shade Settled Sunrise. You guys know I've been loving this so much. Anyways, that's basically like the gist of it. It was really cool just to be able to shop with her, and more than just like, I wasn't just like there just to like shop with her at the booth. Like we just got to chat a little bit, which was so cool. She's seriously so sweet. And it made my morning today, it made my day, probably my whole year. This morning, as I was just doing some work on the computer, I threw on YouTube, as I normally do if I'm working on like, you know, editing photos or anything like that. And I kind of watch YouTube as I'm working, and her IMATS haul went up, and she actually gave me a shout out in the video, which is like, I still like, I mean, she mentioned that she would show her picture and, you know, things like that, but I just was like, it was the coolest thing ever. And I'm just like, I'm so beyond like words. I can't even express like how happy that made me. So I'm just like, that really made my experience this year. Just so you guys know, if you're not familiar with the past times I've mentioned her on my channel, her channel is very different from mine. Clearly we all know I am very much more like kid friendly, family friendly. She actually has a disclaimer in the beginning of her videos for people who don't like random stuff and cussing and things like that. So if you're not into that stuff, you may not enjoy her channel, but I think she's hilarious and I really enjoy her channel. So anyways, I think I've rambled on and on enough about meeting Teresa, so I'm gonna stop before I sound like a total psycho. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to my eyes. And so I do, like I said, have another product from that brand, Delu, and I'm expecting this to be extremely pigmented, just like everything else that has kind of blown me away. This one's a little bit more of a matte-ish, maybe like a satiny kind of green, has a little bit of gold flecks in it. So, oh gosh, so pretty. So I want to use that mostly on my eyes today, and then I think I might do some glitter. So NBA Cosmetics came out with a few new shades of their premium glitters. I actually just did a whole video about the NBA Cosmetics premium glitters. I'll link that in the eye if you haven't seen it. I originally thought they only had one new shade, but they came out with 4 new shades, and so I think I might want to use one of them today. This is the shade 0. And one thing that has changed and will change, they do still have a few in stock with their original packaging, because I actually mentioned the packaging and that being one of the differences with their glitters in that video, but the packaging is actually going to be changing. So it's going to be into this, just like a jar, and there's going to be no sifter, but you still are getting quite a bit of product, and so that will eventually be the new packaging for the premium glitters, which I have to say I'm kind of a little bit bummed, because I did prefer the other packaging where it had a little flip top lid and made it so that it wasn't really messy or anything like that, or less messy, because it had a lid that stayed on, then just like a little hole you could dip your brush into, whereas this is just a big open container of a glitter. So that is kind of a downside. I did ask the owner, Sherry, why she was switching packaging, and she just said she had a lot of issues with where she buys the packaging from and things like that, and so I just figured she would switch over to these. So that is the reason if anybody's curious. Alright, and then I think I'm just going to go ahead and go into this little NBA quad palette I put together, and I'm going to be using this brown shade. It's the shade Maple. It's a matte. I'm going to take it on a fluffy brush, the Crease Blender L215 from Stilazzi, and just kind of run that in my crease loosely and see how we go from there. I did want to talk about, I made a really cool connection, at least I think so, with the people at Royal and Langnickel, which I mentioned earlier that I had something to say about it. So as I mentioned, I was working on the side of the booth selling the Chromalites, NBA Cosmetics, larger kind of pressed glitters. Now, really quick side tangent, they have pressed glitters, which are in a smaller, you know, size, the same size as their, you know, shadows, pressed shadows. And then they have their Chromalites glitters. And the Chromalites glitters are in a bigger pan, and they are a different product. They are made with the same ingredients, but the pressed glitters are diluted, and to make them more so a, like just literally a pressed glitter. So they're called their pressed glitters because they are literally like just a pressed glitter. They do have a little bit of a binder to them, so they have a little bit of stick and slip to them, but they're you know, a little bit more of a drier pressed glitter. So it's just mainly made for someone who likes glitter but doesn't really want the mess, so it's already kind of stuck together, but you definitely want to use them with an adhesive. Where the Chromalites Foil Effects glitters are named that because they have this chrome foiled effect to them. They have the full amount of the binder, it's not diluted to them, which gives them a lot of stick to them, and they just swatch on and apply on very, very smoothly. And you don't necessarily have to use them with an adhesive. I personally do like to use them with adhesive, and I am going somewhere with this, just so you guys know, I'm not just rabbit trailing for no reason. I like to use them with adhesive for long wear, and especially because I usually use them over top of a shadow, and that can tend to make them a little bit more drier because the powder in the shadow mixes with the binder, so it dries it out just a touch. So you can apply them for sure without an adhesive, but I just like to use an adhesive anyways. But anyways, that's kind of the biggest difference with the Chromalites and the pressed glitters. Going back to what I was saying is a lot of people will like to use pressed glitters with their fingers. I personally do not. There's other people who are like that as well, and so they will ask, you know, do you have to use a finger with these, or can they apply with a brush? And so I would always say, of course they apply really well with a finger, but you can use them with a brush, and they asked if I, you know, could recommend a brush. So basically here's where it goes. I would always tell everybody who asked that yes, my favorite brush to use with the Chromalites glitters is the Royal and Langnickel BX80 brush. And Royal and Langnickel actually happen to have a very large booth here, or there at IMATS, and so I would always point them in the direction. I was like, it's down that way, it's the very, very long, large booth, Royal and Langnickel. Ask for their BX80 brush. That's the brush that I use. There's something about that brush. It is a synthetic brush, but it's not synthetic in the way that most other synthetic brushes are. Like if you think of the Luxie brushes and any other synthetic brush, it has a certain look and style and feel to them. The Revolution series from Royal and Langnickel is different. I know that they are synthetic, and I actually asked the owner over there, his name is Justin, I think he's the owner or like manager somehow of Royal and Langnickel, anyways, about them, and he said they're like have this certain technology that they're made with where they're synthetic, but they're made to kind of feel like natural bristles, and so that's really what sets them apart. And I was like, yeah, you can definitely tell they're just different, there's something about them. And so anyways, so basically I was recommending, me and then Dee as well, because she was also working the Chromalight side with me, would recommend the, you know, the BX80 brush from Royal and Langnickel. So after about 2 days of doing this, I got really curious to see if anybody was actually taking a recommendation and buying the BX80 brush after purchasing the Chromalites glitters. So I went up to the booth on my break to the gal who was in front of the Revolution line, and I was like, do you guys happen to be selling a lot of the BX80 brush by chance? You know, just was like really curious, and she's like, yeah, actually we're almost sold out of them. And I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. I was like, I have been recommending them all day to everyone who asks about what brush I recommend to use with our glitters. And I was just curious if people were actually following through and buying them. And she was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. So anyways, after we chatted for a little bit, I went on my merry way to go get something to eat and look around at some of the other booths. I'm going to be taking this brush, is one of the ones I got from Royal & Langnickel. It's their Omnia BOM 405 brush. Looks really, really nice. These are so, so soft. And I'm going to go ahead and go in with the Delu Cosmetics eyeshadow. This is the shade Green Scene. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, so I'm just going to start applying that. That's so, so pretty. Anyways, moving on with my story here. I go on, have some lunch and take my time. As I start heading back to my booth, I happened to see Jen of Jen Loves Reviews and her husband, and she was talking to Justin, who I hadn't met before. I had just met there. Want to go over and say hi to her. I've met her as well before, I think my first year at IMATS, and then I think she goes every year, but I've managed to miss her the last 2 years at IMATS, but I have met her before. She's seriously so, so sweet. Anyways, so since I happened to walk by and catch her, I wanted to go up and say hi and give her a hug, and she was like, hey, this is Justin, introduced me to Justin of Royal & Langnickel. And it was so, so funny. I'm gonna see if I can get the picture from her. It was like, hey, I stopped by your booth and you weren't there, but I already got a picture with you. And I was like, what were you talking about? So she showed me, she had taken her picture with my picture there at the booth. Anyways, I thought that was the cutest, sweetest thing. I do have an eyeshadow collection with NBA Cosmetics. It's the Vintage Romance collection. So anyways, I do have my picture there with the collection. Anyways, we chatted for a little bit, and then I had mentioned to Justin that we were recommending you know, his brushes. I was like, I'm not sure if you've noticed anything about the BX80 brush, but we've been recommending it all day and yesterday for, you know, to work with our products and things like that. And he's like, oh, I haven't really noticed, I haven't really you know, paid attention to, you know, what's selling and things like that. And I was like, okay. I was like, I just thought I'd let you know. So anyways, and that was that, and then I went back to my booth. The next morning, which would have been the last day, Sunday morning, we had a little extra time. So Dee and I decided to go over to the Royal & Langnickel booth to purchase a few things before the show started. And so Justin was there, and he had remembered talking to me the day before and came up and talked to us, and he was like, hey, that brush, the BX80, actually did sell out. The whole kind of point behind this story and why I'm so excited about it is that I'm going to talk a little bit more with Justin, and I thought that was really nice. Anyways, he asked about, you know, me working with NBA Cosmetics, and I was like, oh yeah, I run their social media, and he had asked if we happen to do any kind of collabs or giveaways and things like that, and I was like, yeah, we do, and he said he would love to, you know, maybe Royal & Langnickel and NBA can maybe do some kind of collab, and so he connected me with their social media coordinator, and I just thought that was really, really cool. That's why, like, that's the kind of the main point of me telling the story and why it was so exciting for me. And it's really exciting too because NBA Cosmetics, you know, I talk about them all the time on my channel and how I feel like they're such an underrated brand. It's just, or under the radar brand, not underrated, because it's just, they're more under the radar. Not many people know about them, not many people talk about them, and I just really wish that more people, you know, knew about NBA, not just because I work for them, but because I truly love the brand. I know the owner, I'm very close with the owner. I've known her for longer than I've been, you know, actually working for her, and it's just a brand that I would love to see succeed and thrive. They have amazing products, really affordable prices, and I just wish more people knew about them, but I'm such a small creator that I could talk about them all day long, and it's like that only goes so far. I'm just gonna go ahead and start applying that glitter. I'm gonna be using the Zero shade from NBA Cosmetics. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the Royal & Langnickel BX80 brush to apply the glitter. I'm gonna be using the NBA Cosmetics Glitter Foil and Line Effects Serum to apply that glitter. So I'm just gonna dip that in the serum, dip it into the glitter, and then apply that to my eyelid. Now this shade is so, so pretty. It's like a mix of smaller and a little bit more chunky glitters, and it's like a white iridescent, but some of the smaller glitters are also a little bit golden and really reflective. This is a really pretty multi-dimensional glitter. Oh, it's so pretty. I love the kind of chunkier ones. On the third day, I also got to see my dear friend Carol. Carol Lago here on YouTube and Instagram. I recently did, if you guys are not familiar with her, a makeup swap video collab with her. If you haven't seen that video, I will link that. Carol and I have known each other for a couple of years just online. I did meet her officially for the first time last year at IMATS. We met online through another group of influencers, beauty influencers, and we all did like this big YouTube collab a long time ago, and so that's how we first met. But we really have a connection to each other, and so we've just continued to talk online. She is literally like a sister to me. We go to each other for advice, we cry to each other, we go to each other for just random things. I love her so much. She wasn't going to be working IMATS this year, but her and her family were kind of out and about on Sunday, and she made it a point to kind of stop by Pier 94, which is where IMATS is held, just to at least say hi to me, which I thought was so sweet, because it was probably a little bit out of their way, because they were gonna, you know, have a little family day together in New York. And so I was so happy to see her, give her a hug and just chat with her for a few minutes. Really was special to me. All right, so I do have one other kind of group of people to talk about. There's a few other people that I kind of connected with and stuff like that, but nothing that I think will be that interesting to talk about. But I'm worried I'm going to kind of drag on and on and on. I still have to do my brows. And I'm deciding if I want to put on lashes or not. I'm gonna go ahead and just do all that off camera just to save some time, and I'll be back to finish up the lips and talk about this last brand. All right, I am back, and I did go ahead and decide to put on some lashes. I use the Vida Cosmetics Traicionera lashes, and I just love the way they look. This eye look really pulled together so beautifully. I'm obsessed with this glitter right now. And this green, oh my goodness, I love it so much. A very simple look, but oh my gosh, so pretty. Okay, so if anybody's curious, I just want to mention real quick, my brows, I've been using the Anastasia new Dip Brow Gel in the shade Dark Brown, so that's what's on my brows. Now, I did go ahead and pop on a little bit of the shade here, Vanilla Pearl, onto my inner corner for a little bit more highlight there. And then in my waterline, I used the Ardell Wanna Get Lucky gel liner in the shade Royal Purple. There's just something about adding that kind of purple color into my waterline, especially when I wear greens. It just makes the green in my eyes pop, and I love the way it looks. It's kind of very subtle from afar. I don't think you'd really see it, but I do feel like it makes enough of a difference. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap it up to the very last products I have to share with you, which are for lips. So I do have this lipstick from a brand called Indigo Cosmetics, and you guys might, if you're familiar with me, be wondering why I would buy a lipstick when I don't wear lipsticks that often. But this was a brand that I really wanted to support. And I have a little story to go along with it. The gals at Indigo Cosmetics were in a booth like literally just across from us, and one of the girls, her name is Brittany, came over to our booth to kind of check out the Chroma Lights glitters. Next thing you know, Dee's actually putting one of them on her eyes to show her how it applies, to see how well it sticks and just the color, and she like fell in love. She was just so cute, literally the sweetest person, and just such a fun personality, and just so spunky and like just full of life. She was just so much fun to talk to and just like hang out with. You know how there's some people you instantly just feel like you want to be around them because they're just so fun, they're just so inviting, and they're just, you know, so cool. That sounds so like elementary to say that's just so cool, but they really were. So I'm gonna go and put this on because it feels weird to like be talking about them and not do anything, but I know I can't talk and apply lipstick, so I'm just gonna do that real quick. Alright, so here's how that color is looking. I actually really like it with this look. It's a really pretty kind of reddish brown. Really pretty. So now I'm just kind of paranoid that I might get lipstick in my teeth, because it always seems to be my luck. But before I put on the gloss, let me just tell you a little bit more about Indigo Cosmetics and the girls behind them. So just so you guys know, and Brittany told me to tell people. She was like, feel free to tell people we're a Black women-owned business, and so yeah, they are, and I definitely think you should check them out. But anyways, I decided to go ahead and stop at their booth and see what they have to offer. So right now, I think they said they are going to eventually expand to other products, but right now all they have is lip products. So they have liquid lipsticks as well as bullet lipsticks like the one I got. But anyways, while I was there, I was just really curious to hear about their brand because I'd never really heard about it before. And so I was like, you know, are you guys a new brand? Like, you know, what's the deal? How'd you guys get started? I was really curious. So I guess they've been around, I think she said, for about 3 years. And what's really neat about them is that, and I didn't realize this at first, but they are all sisters. And then their mom was there. And I believe it was probably the oldest sister who technically started the business. So I'm going to kind of ruin the story because I can't tell it as well as she did. But I will give you the gist of it. But basically when she told me the story, it literally brought tears to my eyes. I just thought it was really cool and really sweet, and just showed how like tight knit and close they were as sisters. And it just was goodness, I didn't expect to get emotional, but dang, that made me emotional. It was just really cool to see. But basically the way that Indigo Cosmetics got started was that while she was in college, one of her assignments was to write up a whole like thing, report of a business, present it like it's your own business and all that stuff. And so she ended up decided to do makeup Indigo Cosmetics, and she had like a whole write-up about the brand. It was just for this assignment, but her family read it, her sisters read it, and a lot of people read it and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, this actually sounds really great, you should really actually do this, you should really start this. Her sister Brittany started a fund for her so she could actually make this a reality, and kind of surprised her with it. So she said that, well, if I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna do this without you. And she wanted all her sisters and her mom to be in on this business with her together, and so that's what they did. And I feel like the way I tell it is so lame, it doesn't sound like that great, but when you hear her say it and just the way they are together, and it was just so, it was the sweetest thing. And basically one of the things they said was like, they have this saying together, it's basically like, you jump, I jump. And I just thought that was like so cool. So basically if one goes all in, the other one goes all in with them. And I just thought, what a cool story, and what an amazing family, and what beautiful sisters. These girls were just so much fun. Dee actually captured on video, they were having a little dance off in their booth. And just the cutest thing. If Dee has that video, I hope she still does. I'm gonna ask her to send it to me so I can put it here so you guys can see them. Just how fun they are and full of life they are. And just what an incredible story for them to just start this business up together. And I just think that's really cool, and I wanted to be sure to share that with you guys, even though I feel like I ruined their story a little bit. But you know, I think it's awesome, and I definitely encourage you guys to check out their brand. If you are a lipstick lover, if you want to support an indie brand, if you want to support a women-owned brand, if you want to support especially a Black women-owned brand, please definitely check them out. They deserve so much love and recognition, and I hope to see them grow and become even more successful because they definitely deserve it. And I just adore them. And so that was another connection that I made that I was so thankful for. Brittany and I really connected. It was really cool to meet her. I think she's such a sweetheart. Their whole family are just so sweet, and I'm just so thankful to have gotten to meet them and connect with another brand and show support to them. So anyways, I wanted to be sure to share about them in my video today. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and go in and top this off. I was so excited when NBA Cosmetics, when Sherry released the Glitzy glosses, because you guys know, while I don't love lipsticks, I am a major gloss girl. I love lip balms and lip glosses, and these are their Glitzy glosses. They're basically have a little bit of color to them, but they're mostly sheer, and they have a lot of shimmer, or some of them actually have glitter in them. So if you really want a shimmery, shiny, glitzy lip look, the Glitzy glosses will be for you. I'm going to be using the shade Venus to apply over top. Even though this is stunning on its own, I'm just really curious to see how it'll look with a little bit of shine. Okay, I love that. this is the completed look using pretty much all of the products I hauled at IMATS. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, this chit chat get ready with me, and just chatting about my experience at IMATS. I actually really don't know how entertaining or interesting it was for you guys to hear about my experiences and, you know, the connections and things that actually were really exciting to me, because I don't know if they're that exciting to anybody else, but I was just really excited to share and wanted to be able to kind of have a video, you know, documenting, you know, my time and my memories, because I tend to have a really bad memory actually, and after some time I would probably forget some of this, so I really wanted to just be able to have it out, because this really was just a special IMATS for me, and so many exciting things in my opinion happened, and people that I met and connections I made, and I'm just so thankful for this experience. I'm just, yeah, so I just wanted to share. So I hope you guys found at least a little bit of it, you know, entertaining or interesting. And if not, that's okay. You guys can let me know as well. I don't know if I'm really that good at chit chat get ready with me's, because I feel like I never have anything interesting to talk about, and I really wish I was more of an interesting person, but I guess maybe it's just not my forte. I don't know. I think I just need to stick to like tutorials and like reviews and things like that. I don't know. But anyways, with all that being said, I'm gonna quit rambling. We're gonna end this video. I just want to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes. Mwah!